In this video, I'll be showing you how to replace a AC condenser on a Chevrolet Equinox. It is located behind the front bumper and in front of the cooling fan. Let's get started. Quick note before you start this job, you are going to want to head down to a local shop and have the AC professionally evacuated. So we're going to want to go ahead and open our hood and locate our 6 T15 Torx screws on our grill. We're going to go ahead and remove those now. I'll be using a T15 Torx bit. Go ahead and set these aside. Now we're going to lift the grill up off these 2 mounting tabs. I'm going to grab the corners and lift up. Now we're going to move along to the bottom side of the bumper on the corners to locate this one 7mm screw. There's another one on the other side. We're going to go ahead and remove it. And you're going to want to repeat the process for the other side. Now we're going to move along to the front portion of underneath the bumper to locate 6 more 7mm bolts. We're going to go ahead and remove those now. Now we can set these aside. Now for our 5 T15 Torx screws on the inner side of the wheel well. To gain access to these, you could turn the wheel all the way in or simply remove it. So repeat the process for the other side. Now after all our screws have been removed, I'm going to take a trim tool and peel the fender liner back from the bumper. Now we could go ahead and remove the 7mm bolt on the corner. Now repeat the process for the other side. I'm going to place one hand under the plate bracket and one hand on top of the grill and pull the bumper away from the vehicle. Now with our bumper pulled away, I could go ahead and remove my turn signal wire harness. There's a connector right here near the inner fender liner. I'm going to pull this red tab down. Now that my red tab is undone, I'm going to take an angled pick to disengage the clip. I'm prying up on the clip, now I can slide my connector out. Quick inspection for any corrosion or damage. And there it is. Now let's remove our headlight. We're going to find 4 7mm bolts on each corner of the headlight holding it down. Go ahead and remove those. Now for our last bolt. Now let's remove the headlight from the vehicle. I'm going to pull away. I'm going to locate our connector, held in by a red tab. Push the red tab back. Now push on the black tab and release the connector. If you find the tab to be stuck, you could use a pick. And inspect for any corrosion or damage. Now repeat the process on the other side. You're going to have to remove the horn and its bracket. It's held in by one 10mm bolt. Set it aside. I'll pull away the bracket from the vehicle and set the horn aside. Now we're going to locate our transmission oil cooler bracket right here, getting held on by one 10mm bolt as well. Set it aside. Now we're going to remove our front upper bumper support. It's held down by two 10mm bolts on each corner. Go ahead and remove those. Now we're going to locate this bracket and remove the lower 10mm bolts. Now in the active grille shutter on the lower mounting tab, there's a 7mm bolt. Remove that as well. Now we're going to disconnect this harness right here. There's a red tab. Pull it out. Push down on this black tab and slide the connector out. Set it aside. Now in each corner of the active grille shutter, there are going to be two pushpin clips. Go ahead and remove those. Now repeat the process for the other side. Now in the corner of the resonator box, there's another pushpin clip. Now we're going to set the front upper bumper support aside. Just pull it up and pull it towards you. Now we have access to our condenser. We're going to move along to our resonator box and locate two 10mm nuts, one on top and one on the bottom. We're going to remove those to gain access to our condenser connector. Pull it up and away and set it aside for now. Now let's remove our condenser connector. Push up on this black tab and slide it up and out. Set it aside. Now we're going to follow our condenser lines and remove this 13mm nut. You're going to hear some pressure escaping. That is completely normal. Just pull back slowly. And set the lines aside. Now we're going to move on up the condenser to the transmission oil cooler side. Going to have these lines on each side, getting held down by black clips and springs. So we're going to push these black clips out of the way. You could also use a pick to help. Set them aside. Now we can see our spring clips. I'll be using a pick to remove these. I'm going to lift up on each corner until they're unseated. I can set these aside. I'm going to place a rag under the line just in case any fluid comes out. Pull it up and out of the condenser. Put the rag in it to stop any leakage. Let's move on to the other side. Now that we're on the other side of the vehicle, I'm going to do the same. Now let's move on to removing our hood latch. I've used a marker to mark along the edges for alignment purposes during reinstallation. So I'm going to proceed by removing our two 10mm bolts. We can set it aside. Now let's go ahead and remove our condenser from the vehicle. On each side of the condenser, there are two mounting locations on the radiator, getting held on by these two tabs. So I'm going to pull these tabs back and slide it up. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Once they're free, lift the condenser up and out of the vehicle. Now, before we install our new condenser, there are some things we have to transfer over, such as these plastic shrouds, our pressure sensor, and our mounting stud. As for the shrouds, just pull them up and out. Repeat the process for the other shroud. Now I'm going to move on to the stud. I'm using a E7 socket to remove it. And now for our sensor. I'm going to remove it using a 14mm wrench. Remove the O-ring as well. Now I'm going to reinstall our O-ring on our new condenser. Just going to slide it over and make sure it's fully seated. Now for our sensor, I'm going to hand thread it on. And snug it down. Now for our mounting stud, I'm going to hand thread it on. And snug it down with my E7 socket. Now for our plastic molding, just slide it over in place. I'm going to insert some PAG oil into the condenser. So it's going to be 1 ounce per part replaced, and we're just doing the condenser. So I'm going to place some manufacturer approved PAG oil into the port, and once it's reassembled, it should run through the entire system. Quick note, during a recharge, tell your technician that the system has already been ran with PAG oil. Now let's install our condenser. Going to slide it in the vehicle. Also going to align the mounting tabs on both sides. Once they're aligned on both sides, push down. As you can see, now our condenser is fully seated. Now to reinstall our oil cooler lines. I'm going to take some manufacturer approved transmission fluid to lubricate our O-rings. Do the same for the other side. I'm going to slide my line in. Make sure it's fully seated, and we could reinstall our spring clip. Now that my clip is reinstalled, I'm going to make sure it's secure, and that looks good. I'm going to reinstall my black cover. I'm going to slide it over. Repeat the process for the other side. Now for our refrigerant lines. Slide it over in place. Same with this one. Now we can hand thread on our nut. Now I'm going to snug it down. Now we're going to torque this down to 192 inch-pounds. We're going to reconnect our connector as well. Slide it over, push it in place. Now let's go ahead and reinstall our resonator box. I'm going to slide this over our air box. And at the same time, place the resonator box on the mounting studs. Make sure both ends are fully secured. Now I'm going to hand thread on my two 10mm nuts. Now for our hood latch. I'm going to reinstall it on our alignment points we made earlier. Just going to line it up. And hand thread on my two 10mm bolts. Now we're going to torque these down to 115 inch-pounds. Now to reinstall our front bumper upper support. Going to latch on the mounting points on each side. Now I'm going to snug down my two 10mm bolts. Now for our lower mounting location, reinstall your 10mm bolt and just snug it down. We're also going to reinstall our connector. Slide it in place, push down. Once it's fully seated, push down on the red tab. Now let's reinstall our push pin clips. I'll repeat it for the other side. Now we're going to install this upper clip. Now for our active grill shutter 7mm bolts. Just snug it down. Now we can look at our transmission oil cooler lines and the junction right here. I'm going to reinstall it on the radiator. Slide up the mounting tab, push down, and hand thread on your 10mm bolts. And now for our horn. On the bracket there is a mounting tab that goes onto the bumper reinforcement right here. So make sure it's aligned and hand thread on your 10mm bolts. Now let's reinstall our headlights. I'm going to reinstall our connector. Slide it over in place, make sure you hear that click, and push the red tab down. Now I'm going to slide it in place, making sure that our upper mounting tab is in place on the fender. Now we can install our four 7mm bolts. I'm going to start on this bottom one. Just snug it down. Now for the one on the corner. And the two ones on top. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Now to reinstall our bumper. I'm going to start off at the corner with our electrical connector. Gonna position the bumper near the vehicle, slide the connector in, make sure it's fully seated, and push the red tab in. Make sure it's fully secure. Now let's place the bumper on the vehicle. I'm gonna slide it in place. Now I'm gonna go along to the corners of the bumpers and install them. Make sure my bumper's fully seated. Gonna align the tabs. And push in. As you can see, now it's fully flush. Repeat the process on the other side. Now to install our 7mm bolts on the corners of our bumper. Now just snug it up and repeat the process for the other side. Now to reinstall our fender liner into the bumper. Gonna push it in on the corners. Make sure it's fully in the bumper. Now for our 5 T15 Torx screws. I'll just be snugging these down. Now repeat this on the other side. Now we're going to move along to the mud flap and corner of the bumper to install our 7mm bolts. Again, just snug this down. Now repeat the process for the other side. Now for our 6 7mm bolts under the bumper. Again, just snug these down. Now for our 6 T15 Torx screws on the grill. Just make sure they're snug. After this job is done, you are going to want to have a local shop professionally recharge your AC system.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.